A crow drops a key on her doorstep. It watches her with human eyes. Night presses in. Hollow End is a dead-end street. A single lamp hums. Houses sleep with shutters closed. Emma moves in at dusk. She carries a box. Her neighbor's porch light blinks once. The crow waits on the signpost. It is too calm. She laughs, a small sound. The laugh dies fast. The bird tilts its head. A key clatters against wood. It is not hers. She picks the key. It is cold. The metal is etched with a tiny crow. On the gate, a name scraped into paint. Hollow End. No numbers, no mail. Just the hush of a place that forgot itself. She locks the door behind her. The crow lands on the railing. It stares through the glass. It knows the shape of things to come. 3 nights later, the crow is on her windowsill at dawn, not at dusk. Dawn. It taps the glass with one beak. Inside, her tea has gone cold. A chair is pushed back. There are prints on the carpet. Small, wet, not human. She traces them with a fingertip. Feathers cling to the fibers. Her skin prickles. She finds a note slipped under the door. One word smudged as if written by someone crying, "Stay." Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. A voice, low and far. "Don't leave Hollow End." There is no logic. There is only pressure. The street narrows in her bones. Objects rearrange themselves overnight. Antique frames hang crooked. A shoe appears on the roof. The crow multiplies in reflections. In the microwave, in the blackened window, behind her eyes, in the mirror. At first she sees one, then she counts 3, 5, 10. They blink in unison. Neighbors are rare. Once, an old woman peeks from behind lace curtains and mouths nothing. Once, a child on a bicycle rides into the cul-de-sac and stops, staring at the tar-black curve where the pavement ends. The child goes home without looking back. Emma dreams in the same loop. A long corridor of doors. Each door has a tiny brass crow knocker. When she lifts the knocker, the sound echoes like a knock. On her own skull. She wakes with the taste of rust. She tapes the front door. It rips itself open at midnight. The crow waits in the doorway holding her box's broken lock. It taps the key against the wood. The sound is a metronome. Time narrows. She calls for help. The line goes dead. Her neighbor's voice over the phone sounds like someone in a tin can. Hollow End isn't for leaving, the neighbor says. Then a static hush. Then a soft, unnatural laugh. A laugh that sounds like wings folding. Inside the attic she finds photographs. Old photos of families on Hollow End. Smiles are cut out. In every cutout a black smudge remains. The backs of the photos are scribbled in a shaky hand. We gave our word. We pay with a name. We let them stay. She opens a tin box. Inside, a stack of small bird-worn letters. They are confessions. They are pleas. One reads, "We thought it was a superstition. We hung a charm. We fed them in winter. We kept our promises. The crow gave us silence. The crow asked for one thing each year, a voice, a face, a name. A ledger lists names, each name crossed out with careful strokes. Emma finds her own name at the bottom, written yesterday, in a hand identical to her own. Her heart forgets to beat. She has not yet been here a week. She remembers a dream from the moving truck, a child pointing into the cul-de-sac, a voice saying, "She will come." She cries then, because memory and fate are impossible to tell apart. A newspaper clipping falls from between pages. Headline, "Missing 7 residents of Hollow End." Photo grainy. The crowd outside looks at the dead end like a wound that will not heal. The caption, "No leads, no exits." Emma presses the key into her palm. The crow eyes her from the attic window. Its feathers glimmer like wet ink. It seems to know the ledger's next line. That night, the crow comes to the bed. It perches on her chest. The weight is heavy, as if that small body contains a mountain. She cannot move. Its beak finds her throat. It does not pierce, it simply touches. A memory slips into her, not hers, but stitched into her skull like stitches. A promise made by someone who lived here before. A promise whispered into the ear of a bird. "You will guard our street," the voice says inside her. "You will hold our silence," she thrashes. The room containers fold into itself. Paint peels in slow motion. The mirror shows her not as she is, but as the ledger's scratched name. The curve of cheek hollowed, pupils like coal, mouth opening to say nothing. The crow taps her lips with its beak. Her voice is a lock. The key in her hand warms until it burns. Outside doors open along the street as if invisible hands turned their knobs. Light spills. Shadows pour out and gather at the dead end, like water seeking its depth. Figures step into the pavement, not fully people, but folds of former lives. They have the softness of things that have been watched too long. They lift their faces. Where their mouths should be are smooth, planes of skin. Their eyes are glossy like bottle caps. Each face has a small puncture where a key might fit. They look at her. They do not speak. The silence is a language now. It presses down until thought is difficult. She runs. The cul-de-sac seems longer. Houses lengthen like the throat of a beast. Her footsteps sink into tar like a hand into warm wax. The crow is above, circling low, a black halo. It drops pebbles of something, feathers or coins. Each one chimes with a name. Each chime is a throat closing. At the end of the street, the lamppost stands taller than the first night. The signpost with the crow has another key affixed to it, identical to hers. Around the post, names are carved into the wood. New letters appear as she watches. Her name deepens. The crow lands on top and cocks its head, the human eyes glinting. "One more," a chorus whispers, though nothing moves in the houses. "One less voice, one more guardian." She grabs the key, turns it. The key fits into a tiny hole in the post the size of a throat. It slides in smooth, as if prepared for her hand alone. Her skin stings. She resists. Her fingers want to pull away, but the town has already mapped her bones. The ledger in her mind flips open. She hears the old confessions again, in the cadence of builders and bellows. You keep them, they keep you. You give a name, you keep a name. Her knuckles whiten. She thinks of the empty photographs. She thinks of the neighbor who called her from a tin can. The child's bike at the edge of night. The taste of rust. She thinks of the crow's tap at the glass. Her breath is small, a broken bell. She turns the key. The sound is a small private thing, a click that resonates like a knell. The lamp above the post shudders and goes out. Hollow End breathes. The figures in the houses lower their painted faces. The smooth mouths are gone. They smile. It is too wide. Emma feels something slide out of her chest. Not a sound, not air. A small, cold weight. She looks down. Her hands are feathering. Her nails split into talons. Her skin tightens. Her throat loosens. She tries to scream. A sound comes out, but it is not a human crying. It is a rasp of wing against wood. The crow above lands on her shoulder. Its head is her head. It turns and looks at her with a face she recognizes. The ledger had been right. Names are traded. Voices are given. She is not killed. She is changed. She is made into a keeper. The post takes the key and draws heat up into the sky. The names around the wood bloom like black flowers. A new entry writes itself in the ledger. Emma Hollow, Guardian. Her mouth opens. A sound tries to push through. It is a history of promises. It is a warning and a lullaby. People in their beds in the neighboring towns will dream of a dead-end street with a light that leads nowhere. They will pass it by. They will not enter. Emma steps back from the post. Her feet are light with feathers. Her eyes have a slant to them now. The houses on Hollow End return to sleep. Their shutters close like eyelids. The crow on her shoulder blinks with her own rhythm. She walks to the center of the cul-de-sac. She spreads one wing. It feels familiar and foreign all at once. She remembers her box. She remembers the key dropped on her doorstep by a bird with human eyes. She remembers the note that said, "Stay." She remembers the ledger. She remembers the neighbor's tin can voice. She remembers touching the crow's beak that first night. She remembers choosing nothing at all. A child cycles by the boundary of the street. He looks in. He slows. He does not enter. He does not see the feathered body that settles where Emma once stood. He rides home and says nothing. At the edge of the town, a telephone rings and goes unanswered. The camera, if there had been a camera, would close in on her face, close enough to see the thin seam at the corner of her mouth, close enough to see something plucked and woven into the skin, close enough to see the keyhole in the wood reflected in her pupil. She lifts her head. She cocks it the way the crow taught her to cock it. Her throat opens. A sound starts. Not exactly a crow's caw, not exactly a human word. A hanging, halting syllable that could be mistaken for a name, and then finally unmistakable. A single, small human voice, thin and tired, says, "Stay." The street listens. Hollow End remembers what it promised. The crow on the post takes flight and becomes many. They fan out, black and precise, into the sleeping town, carrying a hush like a harvest. Each returns to a place where a name is missing. Each finds an empty ledger page in a drawer. Each writes in an old hand. Days later, the house is tidy. The moving box is gone. The door swings with a polite creak. On the porch, where a key once lay, is a single feather. It looks ordinary at first. Up close, you might see the faint imprint of a tiny crow etched into its stem. You might, if you live near a dead-end street, hear a little knock in the night. If you ever pass a cul-de-sac at dusk and a bird falls from the sky holding a key, do not pick it up. Do not turn it. Do not answer the voice on the line. If you do, Hollow End will learn your name. Hollow End will teach you to guard it. Hollow End will ask for one thing, your voice. It will keep it safe. It will keep it until the ledger needs filling again. Outside, a crow watches you from a signpost. It blinks. Its eyes are too human. It drops something small and metallic onto the pavement. You hear it hit. You look down. A key, cold, etched with a tiny crow. Stay.